Live with Legion and Greg the Greek. Join us live here for NFL Week 6 picks breakdown here. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it. So, Legion, we're going to go ahead and start this off here. What are you liking for your first pick this upcoming week?
Yeah, this first pick, I'm going to have to go with the London game, and I'm taking the Jaguars plus 3.5. I also got them on the money line at plus 152. I just like this spot. I was backing the Jaguars last week on the cover, and as I said, the quarterback play there, he's slowly getting better. And I think Urban Meyer still has some of that team buying into him, even though after his incident and stuff there. So this is a game, it's a 50-50 game that you should win, honestly. And there's news that Tua's probably going to play for Miami. Great. Tua hasn't been doing anything this year, really. Yeah, he's better than, Brisket, they call him down there. That's all he is. But I'm not going to buy into Tua coming back from an injury game one here. No, I'm going to buy into Urban Meyer. I think he's going to, do some better play calling here and get that quarterback play even a notch higher this week. So that's what I'm going to go with, man. So.
There we go. Jags finally going to break that losing streak. Are they?
I hope so, because I took on the money line. So.
Finally won one for Urban Meyer.
Greg the Greek, what are we looking at for week 6 here? What is your top play we're looking at?
Well, I guess for me, I'm going back to the well here with the Cowboys on the road against the Patriots. I really like this spot for them. I just think that we're still getting an underrated Cowboys team somehow. I still think they're still being undervalued with seeing -3 at some books. I think you'll see 3.5 move by game time. But I see both these teams, the offensive stat comparison isn't even close. The Patriots average 5.1 yards per play. The Dallas Cowboys average 6.5 yards per play. And that's before taking into account the fact that they run the ball at a 48% to 51% clip at compared to 34 to 65.5% for the Patriots pass percentage. So they pass the ball a lot more and they have a lot less yards. So, I think that's a sign that not only is the offense comparison not close, but, you got to look at the other side of the ball where you see Dallas Cowboys have probably as good of a defense as the Patriots here. And even though you're getting Belichick at home, I still think, they're coming off of pretty much not a lucky win against Houston, but, they're pretty happy to scrape that one out in the late minutes there. So I think that was a pretty good emotional high, and you'll get Dallas coming in trying to prove one and take one away from Belichick at home.
And I would agree with that to a small extent, because when you look at the Cowboys defense right now and you compare it to like what the Buccaneers defense is, right? Because if we're going to compare offenses, well, Dallas is right there with the Buccaneers, right? As far as offensive weapons and who they can pass it to. But when you look at the defense, right, the Bucs were just banged up across the board everywhere. So I look for that defense to kind of keep Mac Jones in check there a little bit as that game kind of goes on.
Yeah, Dallas has one player that has probably more turnovers than some teams. So
well, that's right. That dude's on fire, right?
Yeah, can't discount that either. It's nice to have a player that's just dominating on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. You just know that like one side of the field's blanketed, right? And hey, stay away from that. I'm only looking at 2 picks tonight, or 2 picks for this upcoming week. So, Legion, do you want to go ahead and jump in with your second one, and then I'll go ahead and throw mine in after yours?
Yeah, that's fine. On the second one here, I'm looking at the Vikings and Carolina Panthers here. I'm taking the Panthers on the money line. They're plus 1.5. If you wait, you might even get them up to plus 2, maybe even 2.5 here. Yes, the Vikings played a little bit tougher schedule, and their power ratings are just a tad bit better than that of the Panthers, but I think the Panthers defense is actually better than the Vikings defense currently. And that coach is going to scheme some plans in, and hopefully Christian McCaffrey is back. Hopefully he's more than 95% ready to go, because that's what I think Sam Darnold was missing, right, was Christian McCaffrey here in this last game for sure, where he took a huge step back on the offense. I'm not a fan of, Carolina's offense per se. I'm really not a fan even of Darnold a whole lot, but I'm going to give it to the home field team. I like Christian McCaffrey. And from what I've seen from the Vikings, their last couple of games, they're on a downhill slide here. The first couple games, they were scoring a lot of points. Last couple, they're going downwards. And I think this is just a spot where Kirk Cousins, is going to have another downward slide. And I'm pretty sure Dalvin Cook's probably going to play, but is he going to be 100%, So if they're going to use him, 50% of the time and the other running back, what is it, Madison or something, then I think that's going to bode well for me personally on back in the Panthers here. So it's going to be one of those games. It's going to be close. It's probably be low scoring. I don't see this thing going over the total of 46. I think it's going to be, a 2017 kind of ball game. It's going to be, come down to possessions, and it's going to come down to who has the least amount of turnovers is going to win this game. So that's just how I see it. And I think the Panthers are going to do a little bit better. I'm hoping Christian McCaffrey is going to have a big game, and that's going to be the difference in this one. So
I'm hoping he comes back, man, because it's always exciting watching Christian McCaffrey, man. That guy's fun when he's got the ball in his hands. So
yeah, he's electric, man. One of the best. Right. That's for sure.
I couldn't agree more. All right, for one of my two picks here, I'm going to go ahead and go with the underdog. It's got Chargers plus 3.5, so you guys can go ahead and take it however you would like here. I'm going to go ahead and take the money line. I think this is more of a pick'ems game here. Now, I know Greg the Greek, you're going to go ahead and touch on this one here in a little bit because I would say that you agree, right? You're taking the 3.5. I'm actually going to take a stab at the money line here. I'm not going to take the 3.5. Really, I see the Ravens are favored by 3. Purely home field advantage. That's all you're looking at. But if we want to look at a team who's been tested a little bit more, it's actually the Chargers more than the Ravens. The Ravens have been squeaking by, but if you look at their squeak by wins, it's not against impressive teams here. We're looking at the Chargers have had multiple impressive wins here against playoff caliber teams. I actually jumped on the money line. I think it plus 152. I know that money line has steadily been coming down. I'm seeing it in books at like plus 125, plus 130 area. If you don't like that, you want to take the value here a little bit more and kind of keep it at a lower line, go ahead and take the Chargers plus 3.5. But Greg, I'm going to go ahead and let you jump in here. I mean, it's a battle of dynamic young quarterbacks here, offensive talent on both sides of the ball here. I mean, I really just see a massive shootout. And I really like the Chargers here. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think you kind of nailed it on the head with saying how Baltimore has been one of the teams that's been squeaking by. And, if you look at it in retrospect, how some of their games went down, if they don't create a lucky turnover, hit a 60-yard field goal. I mean, all sorts of crazy things that have happened so far in their games so far. I mean, they could easily be looking at being a fringe playoff team. Now they're, potentially, going to try to shoot for the division. So both teams are going to come in really fired up. I mean, the thing that I see, though, that has been most impressive is how much Justin Herbert's turned it on in the past 3 games. After turning the ball over in the first 2 games with a few interceptions, he hasn't thrown an interception in the past 3 games, and he's put up 12 touchdowns, averaging a boatload of yards. So, man, it's until you see Herbert slow down, the way he's using Mike Williams really reminds me of the way that you remember how Drew Brees had Mike Thomas, just like they couldn't stop him. That's what I'm starting to see when I'm watching them play, is like that type of dynamic in the passing game where it's like they know where they're going to put the ball and they just can't stop them. So I think, until we start to see that team slow down, I'm going to take the points, but I don't mind the money line there at all. I think they're the better team. I think the wrong team's probably favored at the end of the day. I know that the one thing you got to say is that it's definitely going to be tougher to go into Baltimore because it's at Baltimore, the game. So, I think that, they will have the crowd really going, but, I think Herbert's he's proven himself. He's pretty battle tested already, and they have a little bit of a running game, and the way that they can throw the ball to Eckler kind of alleviates some. It's kind of like a modified running game, so it takes the pressure off and opens up the things for all the guys they have downfield. So yeah, I'm with you, man. Let's ride the Chargers just like the Cowboys.
No, and then the
You
last
know,
thing on the Chargers real quick, too, is that coach down there, man. He's pretty ballsy going for it on his own 20, 30-yard line, 4th and 2 or 4th and 1. He's going to go for it. So, and that's what's going to win him the game here. I don't think he can go for it at his own 30 on 4th and 1 against the Ravens. I think that'd be nuts, in my opinion. But at the 50, he's going to go for those. And if he's cashing in on those at a high rate like he's been doing, yeah, the Chargers are going to, that's how you quiet the crowd, right? You got to make these plays, get points scored on the board first, and then crowd noise is going to be nowhere, right? So that's what the Chargers know too. So the coaching play there, he schemes up some stuff, man, that it's like, I don't know if I'd make that call, but it's been working. So, there's an edge there too.
And it's crazy that you talked about the Mike Williams, because I actually brought this up to Legion at one point. It was like that Mike Williams has a better connection with Justin Herbert, but Mike Williams is not the better receiver. Keenan Allen is by far the better receiver, but that instinctual connection that they have, almost like that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase kind of thing. They have that, and it is turning him into a wide receiver one option kind of thing, and that's what kind of makes him deadly. He's like, well, who do you double? You got to go ahead and double Mike Williams? Well, Keenan Allen all day. He'll take the one-on-ones, but do you double So he's doing a phenomenal job at getting that ball dispersed amongst everybody. Legion, what are we looking at for your third and final pick here?
Yeah, this last one here, I jumped on this thing early. I got it at -3. I bought a 0.5 point for Pittsburgh for the Steelers at home against the the Geno Smith train here with the Seahawks, man. I'm not going to believe in Geno Smith. Yes, he came in. He looked stellar. That offensive line for the Seahawks looked stellar, actually. For whatever reason, I just don't see them rolling into the Steelers and saying, all right, our offensive line's not going to touch Geno Smith. That ain't going to happen. They're going to get blowed up, and Geno Smith is going to be on the dirt more times than he could shake a stick at. And I just got Big Ben. He looked good. He was making passes. He's got that arm strength. I think he's finally got some confidence in him. I think, he's going to put up big yards against that defense. That defense gives up the league high, like 450 some yards a game. That's insane. So Big Ben's going to get it going in the air. That sets up Najee Harris just fine on the ground. And I don't know if the Steelers get up to like a 20-some point lead here, can the Seahawks come back from that? They have some weapons to do that, but then the defense will know, hey, I just got to guard, Metcalf over here. And what's Seattle going to do past that? So I just don't see how Seattle's going to keep this close here unless Big Ben goes down or he throws 3 interceptions and the defense gets a couple touchdowns here. That's just kind of where I'm at on this one. So Steelers all day, man. I mean, I'll play the -4 as well. I know right now it's probably at -5, 4.5 at some places. It's kind of hard to start playing it past the -4 there on that key number for me. But I do think the Steelers should win by at least a touchdown here. So
I do like that one. Being a big Seattle fan myself, I'd have to fade him here in this position. It's just not under the helm of Russell Wilson. Somebody who's amped to come into the game. The team's had a whole week to go ahead and study that half of film too. So now they're going to see the tendencies, some of the things there. And it's Tomlin, right? He's trying to right the ship, right? He knows he has to win this one, right? You cannot go and lose to a Seattle team coming in with a backup quarterback that hasn't played since like 2013.
Yeah,
he wasn't even good then.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I actually. I'll join you there with that one. I think I got him at the -3.5 or 4 there, but I do like the Pittsburgh here. Primetime game, right? Sunday Night Football. Give me Big Ben. I'm gonna go ahead and back that. For my second play this week, it's kind of a stretch here. The line's kind of come down. Actually, I still like it. The Rams are at 9.5. Got the Rams at -10 here. And that was with the assumption that Danny Dimes wasn't going to be in. Saquon Barkley's got a baseball size of a knot on his ankle there, so I don't see that man playing. Darius Slayton, Galladay, everybody is injured on the Giants right now. That is meaningful. That would help them put up points. I don't see that happening here. Now, I know the Giants have a halfway decent defense, but, look what the Cowboys just did to them there. And that's supposed to be a division rival game, right? Those are supposed to be tighter played. The The Cowboys put the Giants away right away. I'm looking for the Rams to do the exact same thing here. Let's go ahead and put this team away right away.
And we seen what Teddy did coming back from a concussion, right? After 1 week, looked awful. That's why we faded him too. And so it's the same thing. It's like, well, fade a quarterback coming back from a concussion. He's probably, I mean, he even looked worse after getting up. He's all dizzy, walking off. And
he was trying to pull the stinky
he
leg out.
Is going to play? I didn't even know that.
Well, that's what you're saying.
It was so bad. It was so bad. The Cowboys' defensive player went and stopped him.
Is he playing though this weekend?
He's been in practice the last 2 days.
Really? I didn't know that.
We'll see what happens here, but even then, lots of plagued injuries there. Let me go ahead and get the Rams, who we know can put up the points.
No, I agree, man.
That's kind of where I'm at, and look for an early jump out on this one too. If you don't like it that much, find a teaser there, tease them down. You can put a 6-point, 7-point teaser on these Rams here with like the Colts, who I think are really, really hungry for a win as well. You can do a double tease there, get them both at -3. Call it a really good teaser. Greg the Greek, what's your last and final play you're looking at here?
It's a little scary going with 3 away teams in the NFL, but I'm taking the Chiefs -6.5. You can definitely still find that at some books. This is a bounce back spot. As we know, the Chiefs really rarely lose, multiple games in a row. Patrick Mahomes at the helm. I think you're going to see them come in and really just try to put up a statement game to get things back on track against a Washington team that's defense has kind of underperformed this year. So, the one thing that I have to say that is a little scary with this game is, we really haven't seen the Chiefs defense prove themselves at any point during the season. And it really has been terrible. So, I mean, the defense is going to need to step up for them to win in the playoffs, for them to actually cover the spread. So, I'm counting on their defense to actually show up. The thing that I was monitoring with that is Antonio Gibson. He's really key for their offense in Washington. So I think he was limited in practice today. He's questionable this week. If he does play, I probably will be playing on his over rushing receiving prop, which I did last week. And that would probably be a good way to hedge off on this game, in my opinion. So I'll be playing the Chiefs for sure, trying to back my Chiefs. And hopefully if Antonio Gibson doesn't play, but if he does, I'll probably be on his props.
No, I agree, man. I mean, the Chiefs this year, they feast on the garbage teams. That's why I took the Chiefs on the spread against the Eagles. The Eagles made it a little bit interesting for most of that game, but, look what happened. I mean, the Chiefs finally got it covered. And yes, the Chiefs from last year, they're not good at covering the spread and things like that, because most of the time they're double-digit favorites, right? What team's going to cover double-digit favorites week in and week out? Not many, anyway. So I take that with a grain of salt. And so, this is a bounce-back game for the Chiefs. I definitely like it. I'd put that in a lot of teasers, honestly, just to get them out of pick them straight up. And, I agree.
Alrighty, that pretty much wraps up our week 6 picks here. Just as a recap, I'm taking the Rams -10. You could probably catch that at -9. I suggest maybe a teaser if you're not a big fan of the -10. I also got the Chargers money line this week, going with the underdog. I really think it's a pick'em game, but it being hosted there in Baltimore, that's why they're favorites. So I love the plus money of the underdog. Legion, what are your 3 picks again?
Yeah, 3 picks. I'm taking the Jags +3.5, and I also got them on the money line. I just think the quarterback play is going to be better for the Jags this week, and they're going to get it done. It's probably going to be a real close game. It might come down to a field goal late, so I'm just going to have to take that 3.5 for sure, because that could be the difference between winning and losing, or getting a push for sure. Then the next game, I'm on the Panthers on the money line. You can get them at +1.5. If you wait, you might be able to get them at +2, 2.5 come Sunday. And then the last one there, I'm going to be backing the Steelers at -3. That's my biggest play of the week for sure. I just can't see how Geno Smith is going to come rolling into town with some magic in his backpack and think he's gonna win that game. I just don't see it. So those are the 3 I'm on.
And Greek. What do you recap your 3 here real quick for their audience viewing?
Sure, I'm gonna be on the Cowboys -3. Definitely hop on that sooner rather than later. I see that one definitely moving the other direction. I'm taking the Chargers +3.5. Same thing with that line. If you want the hook, get it sooner rather than later. And then the Chiefs -6.5. All away teams, all starting with the C.
There you go. There's something to it.
In our good friends Rye Cape's famous learn line, let's cash some tickets. Hit the like button, subscribe. You can find it in our Discord here at the Insiders Room. Find the video on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Again, we appreciate all the love. Thanks for tuning in, and see you guys next week.
Yep. Yes, sir. Everybody have a good night.